the wonderful law that has been weakened. Now, I want to remind your listeners that it took a federal court order, a federal judge who overruled our legislature and our own Supreme Court to do this. This was not an act of the state of Mississippi, although the Attorney General conceded the point and chose not to defend the law. The legislature, Supreme Court have supported this law for over 40 years. And, now we're going back to 1978 when we had this law with religious exemptions, but we had a large measles outbreak in 1978. And parents got upset because we were not maintaining a high enough immunity level with our children to prevent measles. And they sued, and the Supreme Court ruled that the state of Mississippi had a compelling state interest to protect the children of our state as they go to school, and eliminated the religious exemption. And since that point, that was in 1979, and since that time, we have seen these preventable, potentially deadly childhood illnesses just evaporate from the landscape in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. We've not had a case of measles since 1992. We've had no outbreaks of anything over these 40 years. We put the fire out to stop outbreaks. We've had sporadic cases of like whooping cough or diphtheria here and there, but no outbreaks. And this law has been so effective because we have had, understand this, the highest vaccination rate of our children of any state in the nation. And now we're moving back to 1978. This was so effective that 15 years ago, when an active case of measles with the Memphis outbreak that you may remember that happened about 15 years ago, that we had the index case drive from Memphis to the Gulf Coast, stopping through the Delta for gas and eating and at restaurants. You know how many cases we had out of that? Zero.
Yep.
Zero cases.
I remember that. But let me ask you this and just interject this. Through that long period of time, have we had anyone, to your knowledge, who was denied, if they had a medical or real religious reason, was denied of that exemption?
Well, the law did not allow on the basis of religion, but the health department has always honored the certification of our doctors in this state. If you're a licensed physician in Mississippi and you declared to the health department that your patient needed a medical exemption, those are reviewed and granted based on physician recommendation.
I got you.
This is entirely different. And by doing that, we have maintained our vaccination rates over 98% for our children. And Paul, we have to maintain at least 95%, or we're at risk again of outbreaks.
Who's going to set the rules and regulations for this? In other words, we got school starting in a matter of weeks now. Is it open for this school year? If
Yes.
The note goes out, and so any word that goes out from public schools or private schools, you must be vaccinated, that's outdated now. You don't have to be vaccinated.
Well, no, you do, unless you have a medical or religious exemption. So
I'm sorry. Yeah, but
you still have to
do they have time to get it for this year?
They do, absolutely. We have set up the religious exemption process in a manner that mirrors Alabama. The federal judge has accepted it. The plaintiffs have accepted it. It's in place. We started Monday and have been going full blast, trying to get the kids ready for school.
Can you give us an idea what that looks like? Because is there one particular religion out there that has this exemption that the others do not? In other words, as a Catholic, I don't think I know of anything that's in Catholicism. As a Protestant, would anybody know that there's a general rule there that it's against their faith to be vaccinated?
Well, certainly not at First Baptist Vicksburg, I can tell you that. But the Catholic Church to your point, the Pope has declared that the safety and health of children supersedes any concerns that people may have and how vaccines are produced. But I don't, we don't have the right to challenge someone's religious beliefs. That's not what we do with the health department. The court wouldn't allow it if we tried. So what we do is to mirror our medical exemption process and require folks to demonstrate a sincere belief by downloading the forms, going to their making an appointment at the health department, coming to the health department, watching an educational video about the importance of vaccination, understanding that vaccinations are one of the greatest public health victories in the history of the world, behind clean water and sewage, and how important it is and why we have had this law in place to protect our most vulnerable children and our adults who are immunocompromised by going through chemotherapy or on other medications and their natural immunity dropping. By keeping these bugs out of our population, we have protected the children with medical exemptions, and we've protected people going through cancer treatment, and we've done it very well. But once you go watch the video, then one of our public health nurses will review with you the attestation form. You're able to pick and choose if there's one vaccine you're willing to take, you can do it, or you can waive all of them. And the attestation says that I have been informed of the importance of vaccination, and that by not vaccinating my children, they are at risk and they're putting others at risk. And they sign it. It comes to us, and we approve it.
Couldn't you use the same thing, the exemption as far as COVID's concerned? If you took this back a couple of 3 years, if this was the law, why couldn't you say the same thing as far as COVID?
Well, we've never had a COVID vaccine mandate. The health department never required COVID vaccination.
But somewhere along the line, when you were fired or your civil rights were abridged or questioned,
that was not the state of Mississippi, Paul.
I understand that.
That was the federal government, and the federal government once again is intruding into the efforts of the state of Mississippi.
Let me ask you this in this way: do you have to be part of an organized religion?
No.
So that opens up a whole new ballgame. Your faith belief, not attached to any organized religion,
none whatsoever.
And do you have to prove it, or you just say it?
You just have to sign an attestation.
And that's
to
it.
That fact.
All right.